Synthesis and HDL. Order description language is convenient device-independent representation of digital logic. That means the Verilog code which we implemented, that is independent of the technology or any type we are going to implement. You can use the same code to dump any FPGA, or you can use the same code to implement a circuit as ASIC, or you can implement in the PAL. It is independent of the technology and as well as the type we are going to implement. Logic synthesis means it converts the Verilog code into gate level netlist. Netlist is nothing but it consists of basic logic gates and the interconnect. So this whatever we implement using any type of modeling, that will be converted into gate level netlist during the logic synthesis. Then this netlist will be mapped to the technology files, or based on the architecture, it will be implemented into the FPGA or PAL or ASIC. Dangers of Verilog. Incomplete specification. What will happen when you incompletely implement the specification that we are going to see now? For example, we are taking 3+1 mux. Here we have this possible input combination. If I give 1 1 for the selection line, so I should expect, I want to get don't care, because that is not here. Only 3 possible is there, 3+1 marks. If I give selection line 0 0, I should get A. If I give 0 1, I should get B. If I give 1 0, I should get C. When I give 1 1, I need to get don't care, because that is not implemented here in 3+1. So this is the expected behavior. While coding, model name, then inputs A, B, C, select and output out. The selection is a 2-bit and ABC as an input, then out is output. Here inside the always block, I am going to assign the value for out. So it should be declared as reach always set. Here all the input for this model A, B, C and select our input. So you should mention all the inputs. And within the beginning case, select all the possible alternatives. Here I mentioned 0 0, 0 1 and 1 0. So the corresponding value for the output I assigned in this statements. Then in case. So are you thinking, is it complete representation? No. Here if you assign like this, so when I use 1 1 combination, the previous value for let's assume initially my selection line I gave as 1 0. Okay. So at the time output is C. When I give 1 1 combination input, still the output will be C. Here for 1 1 combination I didn't mention anything. So the output will be stored in the output side of the mux. A latch will be created during the synthesis and it will hold the previous value. So for 1 1 combination, still I will get the previous value, so that it will create a latch here. So it increases the hardware complexity, and also the expected output we are not getting. That is the problem. So how to overcome this? Let's see. To avoid this incomplete specification, one way If receipt of this all conditions, can assign like this: out equal to 1 tick dx. Default for expecting is x. If none of these is not matched, so it will hold the x value. So each time I enter into this procedural block, x value will assign for out. If any one of the combination we do for selection line, so it will take the corresponding value for out, else it will be in x state. The another way, you can use the default. So the use of default, if none of this alternative is not matched with the selection line, it will automatically choose the default, and the x or whatever we are mentioning, that will assign to output. So this, in this way or this way, we should follow. The default is mandatory so that we can avoid latch, creating of latch in the output side during synthesis. In the same way for if also, you should include the else part. Let's see an example. In this class 1 marks, inputs x, y, z and selection line. So here class clock ID will be used. Output out is declared as switch. Here for at always at x, y, all the input combinations mention possible inputs. Then case select, we mention with the default. So here I just want to show during synthesis, okay, whether you are getting the latch in the output side or not. So here you can choose in the tool and simulator, you can choose the synthesis tool. Then you need to select this show diagram after that, so that you can get the synthesis output. Now run this. This is the synthesis output of this code. Here I mentioned default. Suppose I didn't mention this default. This is with default. So this is without default. So delatch output side, a latch is created to control that there is some other gates are used. So it increases the hardware complexity, the more number of gates are created, and also we are not getting the expected result. That is the drawback when you didn't use the default statement of this. The sequential always block. Educated circuit are described using sequential always block. For implement the sequential circuit are always depends on clock. So no need to mention the inputs in the sensitivity list of the always block. So you can use passage or linkage to trigger. It is the combinational circuit. So in combinational always block, you should mention all the inputs. But in sequential, you should not mention all the inputs. You should mention clock, because sequential circuit it is dependent on clock. When you mention always passage of clock in the sensitivity list, so it will create a memory to block sequential behavior of sequential is you have a storage element and it just depends on clock. So each passage of clock it will sample the value and it will assign to the output. Then importance of sensitivity list. To use passage and make an always block sequential or edge trigger. You should use passage or negate in this sensitivity list to implement the sequential circuit. Here we are going to see the difference between synchronous clear and asynchronous clear. So this is a synchronous clear D flip-flop. Okay, this is asynchronous clear D flip-flop. Difference is here inside the sensitivity list, you should not mention the clear. Clear B is the signal to clear the output. So you should not mention that. That means it is depend on passage of clock. Each time when passage happen, it will enter into this block. At that time, at passage of clock, it will check for clear B. Okay, when it is 0, output Q will be reset. Here, to implement the asynchronous clear, in the sensitivity list, you need to mention the clear also. So that it is independent of clock. When clear is becoming 0, automatically it will enter into this and it will make Q as 0. That's the difference. Incorrect syntax, always set clear or negate of clock. So you should use when one of the signal in the sensitivity list is mentioned as a passage of or negate of clock. You should make all the signals to declare as you should mention passage of clear or negate of clear. Like this. Assign any signal or variable from only one always block. So you should assign the value for a variable in only one always block. If you assign values in multiple always block, all the always block are executing parallel. Starting at 0 time, all the always block execute parallelly, so that it will create a race condition. So the simulation output for this tool is the difference. This is for synchronous clear. So when it will clear B should be 0 out of clear B. So when clear B is 0, it will clear. And each passage of clock we are going to sample. This is the clock and this is the input D, clear B input and Q is the output. At passage of clock it is sampling, D value is 0, so Q is 0. And next passage of clock, clear is 1. So whatever we are giving as input, that comes to output. Okay, here it is 1, so it changes to 1. Here in this passage of clock, this set is 0. I mean clear B is 0. So it will make the Q to 0. So it changes here. Clear B changes here. Here itself it goes to the negate, but it will take effect only during the passage of clock. It is called synchronous clear. In this asynchronous clear, it's clock D clear B. So at passage of clock here, at the time clear B is 1. So whatever we are giving as an input, that comes to the output. Here I make clear B as 0. So at the time itself, output Q goes to 0. It is not happening, not waiting for passage of clock. Whenever clear B goes to 0, at the time itself, output Q goes to 0. This is asynchronous independent of clock, asynchronous clear. Now we are going to see the difference on the behavior of blocking and non-blocking assignment. Verilog support two types of assignments within always block. One is blocking assignment, another one is non-blocking. Blocking we are using this equal to, and for representing non-blocking we are using this equal to. The behavior is, this is an example, the same example we are taking. Okay, two process are going, operation is happening. One is evaluate. That means it's going to evaluate this value and assigning this value, right hand side value to left hand side variable. Two steps are going to happen for each line execution. If you use always block, evaluation and assignment are happen immediately, and then it will move to the next line. A or B will happen, evaluation will happen, and then this value will be assigned to X immediately, and then it will move to the next line. Then the evaluation and assignment will happen, then it moves to the next line, evaluation and assignment will happen. When you see a non-blocking assignment, the evaluation happens first. In scheduling semantics, blocking region is there, then the active region, inactive and non-blocking. So in the active region itself, evaluation will happen. All the right hand side variable evaluation will happen at the end of the time step. That is, in the non-blocking region, all these values are assigned to the left hand side variable. It will happen parallelly. Concurrently, all these values are assigned to the corresponding left hand side variables. That's the difference between blocking and non-blocking. We will see an example for that, and we come to conclusion where to use blocking and where to use non-blocking equal. Here we are taking a shift register, 3-bit shift register. How it will be at each passage of clock, value of in that will be shift here. First passage of clock, when I give in as 1, it will move here to Q1. Next passage of clock, it will move to Q2. And next passage of clock, it comes to out. So after 3 cycle, 3 passage of clock, in moves to out. So this is the behavior of the shift register. Now I am going to implement this shift register using blocking and as well as non-blocking. So model name, in clock, out, input declaration, output declaration. Here for Q1, Q2, out, I am going to assign the values inside the procedure block. So I declare those as rich. Always at passage of clock begin Q1 equal to in. In value assigned for Q1, then Q1 value assigned for Q2, then Q2 value assigned for out. The same I implement using blocking equal to. You see the behavior at each passage of clock, the value which we assign for in Q1 has its default value, Q2 has its default value. Each passage of clock, this value will be assigned to this position. But if you use blocking equal, it will behave as a step by step. That means in one will be assigned to Q1, and then Q1 will assign to Q2, and Q2 will assign for out. So in a single clock cycle, whatever we are giving as an input, that comes to the output. So and it will similar to this. Okay. So it is not going to behave as like a shift register. In a single clock, whatever you are giving as an input as for in, that comes to output, and you use blocking. It is not the proper way to implement the shift register. To use non-blocking, first passage of clock, in value will assign for Q1. Okay. So for first passage of clock, these values are X means that will assign for Q2 and this will assign for out. Next passage, it will hold in value, right? So here you have the in value. The next passage of clock, a new value will assign for Q1. The older value we have that will assign for Q2, and the Q2 value, older value will assign for out. So value evaluation happens first, and end of the time step, this value will concurrently or parallelly assign for the output variables. So it will behave as a shift register. Let's see an example. The same 3-bit shift register we implement using non-blocking. So here we force model essential setup here. The clock we generated. These are the values given for in. So this is the clock, this is the input I do. So the input during when I am doing this sample at passage of clock, it is sample at first passage of clock, the value is 0. So this 0 will shift in the next passage, it will move to Q1, then Q2, then after third passage of clock, I get the actual output 0. Now here it is 1 that I am getting after some cycle. Again it is 0 that I am getting here. So here the values are shifting. Okay. Now if I use blocking, here at passage of clock, if I give in as 0, at the same time I am getting out as 0. This is not the behavior of a shift. So for the conclusion is, for implementing sequential circuit, we should use non-blocking. For implementing the combinational circuit, we should use blocking. We will see one combinational example. So that we are going to implement using blocking and as well as non-blocking, and we are going to analyze the result. This is the circuit, combination circuit we are going to implement. First we are going to implement using blocking. The model name is blocking. Inputs are A, B, C, output is XY. So we declare. So XY, the value I am going to assign inside the procedure block. So it should be declared as B. Then always at combination circuit you should mention all the inputs here. X equal to A and B, this one. Then Y equal to the output, nothing but X or with C. The same thing using non-blocking I implemented here. Now Initially, we are going to assign this value for A, B, C. A value is 1, B value is 1, and C value is 0. That is the input we are forcing. So the output is A value is 1, B value is 1. So X value we are getting 1. And then it will move to the next line. X value is 1. It is evaluated and it is assigned to X. When you move to the next line, the value of X it will take. It is 1 or with 0. So you will get Y as 1. For this input, you are getting output 1, 1. Now I am going to change the input A to 0. When I change this as 0, 0 and with 1, you will get X as 0. Then here 0 or with 0, C value is 0, right? 0 or with 0, you will get Y as 0. So this is the final output when I change A as 0. The same thing we are going to do using non-blocking. Initial value of A is 1 and B is 1 and C is 0. So first evaluation happens. So for this we will evaluate and the value is 1. And for this X at the time it will hold the default value of X. So it is declared as this. So the value is X. Variable is X and it holds the value X. Or with C value is 0. Okay. So you will the value evaluated value is X. Here the evaluated value is 1 and the evaluated value is X. So at the end of the time step that value will assign for is X and Y. So X value is nothing but 1 and Y value is nothing but X during the first passage. Now if I change A value, not first passage, it is for the first initial evaluation. When I change A value, again it will enter into this line. A value I am going to change as 1. So 0. Actually it is 1. Now I change it as 0. So 0 and 1, it is nothing but 0. X value will be 0. So here already we calculated X value as 1. So that value will available here, old value. So 1 or with 0, 1. So at end of the time step, this 1 evaluated 1 will assign for Y and evaluated 0 assigned for X. So we are getting 0 for X and 1 for Y. See here, when you use a blocking equal, so this is the final output when you change A is 0, 0. Means non-blocking, you are getting 0. So you should not use, so this is not the correct answer. So this is the proper answer. So when you use a blocking, when to use a blocking means to implement a combinational logic, you should use blocking. To implement a sequential circuit, you should use non-blocking. Okay, so similar example. AB inputs, XY output, that is declared as rich. From here we are passing the value of AB from the test bench. Differentiated, A value is 0, B value is 0, and after 10 minutes, A value is 5, B value is 10. Then we are going to finish this. With the help of dollar store, I am going to display the value of evaluated value X and Y. Now this is implement using blocking equal. we are getting the proper expected output. The x value we are passing 0, 0 for 0 for A, 0 for B. So this is 0, x value is 0, and then this 0 plus 1 we are getting y as 1. And I change the value to 15 of this, nothing but 5, 10 I am passing. So here it is added, x value is 15, and then 15 plus 1 I am getting 16. In case if I use non-blocking to implement this combination circuit logic, so here x value I am getting 0 and y is x. Reason is passing 0, 0. So 0 plus 0 is evaluated as 0. So here evaluation happens just for all the non-blocking instructions. So x default value is x. X plus 1 you will get x. So this will assign to the right hand side or the left hand side variable at the end of the time step. Those we are getting when you print the values using $store. Why I use $store means, so this will happen at the postponed region. So you will get the proper value. If I use $display before this non-blocking happens, okay, it will print the value. So we should use $store here. So this is the value when I give 0, 0, 0 for A and B. Now again if I change the value A 5, B 10, so 15 will be evaluated. So early what we are getting for x 0. That value will be already x hold this value. So 0 plus 1 will get 1. So at the end of the time step, this is assigned for x and this will assign for y. We are getting 15 and 1. Meaning we will discuss later.